This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Major news today developing with the Dolphins, unfortunately, as Fitz gets COVID and now is out for the game on Sunday against the Bills. So now it's up to Tua, and it's all on him, and that's going to be a very interesting scenario now because, you know, you had the relief pitcher there. You had the Woodley-Strock combination in the modern day now with Fitz just in case because the youngin is still trying to figure everything out. And if he struggles, then you can get Fitz in there to bail you out. Well, they signed Jake Ruddock to the 53-man roster. They went through contact tracing. They figured out that Tua was not in any kind of danger. So that tells you also that the Dolphins did a really good job of keeping quarterbacks apart from each other. And those guys also did a good job themselves of not exposing each other. Not that they thought they would have it, but just in case. That's the way it's got to be, dude. I hang out with this dude every day, and we don't do it maskless. We do it with masks on.
You could see they were responsible. You saw them on the sidelines. Yeah. On the sidelines, those guys would wear their masks. Yeah. They were responsible.
Yeah, and so that's the good news that at least Fitzy and at least Tua did not get, infected by Fitz.
Contamination.
Yeah.
No contamination.
Yeah, so it's actually really cool that at least you have Tua there. But now it's – and let me tell you something. I love this. Because, see, I'm the guy that I'm not going to freak out if they don't beat Buffalo. I'm not going to think, oh, it's the same old Dolphins. I'm not going to do any of that. It's been an awesome season already for Miami, okay? They're only adding to an awesome season already. By winning 10 games – they have exceeded expectations. They have overachieved now. If somehow they win their 11th game, that's just ridiculous. They're not supposed to be doing this. And if they get to the playoffs, phenomenal. Okay? But if they don't, and they end up losing this game, it's not going to be the end of the world for me, and I'm not going to look at the Dolphin season like it wasn't an incredible success. And the dynamics of all of this are going to be very interesting because the Bills are clearly going to play their players early on in this game. But they're going to have one eye on what's going on in Pittsburgh because if Cleveland takes hold of that game and takes a lead, and a comfortable lead, in the second half sometime, you're going to see Buffalo probably pull back and start resting players because Buffalo has to play so they can earn that second spot because they don't want to meet Kansas City until you get to the AFC Championship game. Plus, if Kansas City gets tripped up in the second round, then Buffalo has home field advantage all throughout the playoffs. And while home field advantage or home court advantage or home ice advantage is not the same anymore now during COVID because of the fan bases, you still have to travel to Buffalo and you still have to play in Buffalo weather and on the Buffalo field. So the Bills, or if you're the Dolphins or whatever, you want to use any kind of advantage you have. You know, the Celtics for years, it was always an advantage to play at the Garden, right? Because of the fan bases and all that.
No air conditioning.
But the floor was actually the parquet, as they used to call it back in the day. It had dead spots, and the ball did not bounce the same way all over the place. But if you're Larry Bird and you're Dennis Johnson, you know exactly where the dead spots are. But if you're the visiting team, you're not so in tune to it, so you may mishandle the ball a little bit because that wood has been used for so many years, and those players that worked on it every day, they knew exactly how to work around it. You know what I mean? So the Garden had its own little things, just like, let's say, the Houston Astros. Back in the day when they had that hill in center field, which was, I mean, I don't know whoever came up with that idea. Like, hey, yeah, that's a great idea. let's have a hill in center field, and that'll be a challenge for the players. No. That's ACLs waiting to blow out, you idiot. Who wants a hill in baseball? But anyway, as I digress here, the Astros clearly had an advantage because they played every freaking day with that hill. And if you don't, you're not going to get used to it. So if you're the Bills, you want to play for home field advantage because the winter in Buffalo is different than the winter in Carolina or in Washington or maybe even New York. Because Western New York, you're right off the lake. And that I've been there. I've been there several times for games. And I've been there. I happen to go there every time when it's winter. Okay? Because it always seems that way, right? You play the Bills early in the season with the Heat for the advantage Miami, and then you always visit the Bills or the Jets late or the Patriots, and you're like, okay, yeah, which is our one or two winter games that we got to go up there. And so you always want any kind of advantage possible. And I think the Bills are going to try to take that advantage with them. But don't be surprised that in that second half, regardless of the score, because the Bills, if they see that Cleveland is taking care of that game, which that's going to be really hard. I know that the Steelers are resting Big Ben, but the Browns have a whole bunch of cases of COVID. Hell, their facility right now is closed because they got 2 more cases today. That's a problem. You know what I mean? So maybe Cleveland will also be very weakened by that point. And, hey, listen, Pittsburgh was in the playoff race last year with a guy named Duck all the way to the end of the season. They didn't make it. They were just like, I think, a game out or something like that from the playoffs. I believe they missed it by a game. And that's without Big Ben. So they'll be out without Big Ben. Doesn't mean they can't be competitive. That whole saying, any given Sunday, that's the truth, man. That's the truth. So we'll see, but obviously now Fitzpatrick missing the game because of COVID. Hey, look, the good thing is it didn't spread, because if you got to play Jake Ruddick as your starting quarterback, it takes the wind out of the sails of this entire game. You know what I mean? It's still a great season, and it's over, and they beat them and all that, but you don't want to see Jake Ruddick because you just don't feel like you have a shot there. With Tua, now he's got to respond, and the kid's always been good with pressure.